Fed at the Bell.
Yes,
Hi.
it'll be catered by Fast Eddie's.
Good morning, Richland County. It is 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, April 28th. The Richland County Board of Commissioners is now in session. I'm County Commissioner Cliff Mears, joined by fellow Commissioners Vero and Banks, Senior Clerk Stacy Crawl, County Administrator Andrew Keller, and we have a full house tonight. Oh, and Greg Kale from WMFD, and online we have Carl Hunnell. Okay, so because we have a large turnout today, and I'd like to, for the record, have everybody introduce themselves, starting with Andrew Keller at the door. Go down the line.
Hello, Richland County Children's Services.
Former Family PEO, Cattle and Flight Services.
George Reagan.
Human Hamilton, Third Street Clinic.
Melissa Hamilton, Venus Live.
Travis Pratts.
Kristen Porter East, the domestic violence shelter.
Sherry Robertson, Mansfield City Council.
Alexi Lorenz, NAMI Richland County.
Laura Beckett, NAMI Richland County.
Aurelio Diaz, Mansfield City Council.
Pam Taylor, Mansfield, Ohio. Dash Franklin Township Citizens Against an Out of Center or something like that.
Kevin Bird.
Joy Reader, Family Life Counseling.
Dirk Doe, Civil Rights Advocate.
Bridget Coles, Richland County Children's Services.
Robert Beatty, head of Project Light and Hope.
Carol Optimizer, Richland County Children's Services.
Carrie Vogt, Richland County Mental Health Board.
Scott Basselon, Richland County Mental Health Board.
Brian Peak, or Handsome for short, IBW.
Marilyn John, State Representative.
And Jody Perry, Mayor of Mansfield.
Our first order of business on the agenda is that we have a proclamation for sexual abuse awareness. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jody.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks to the commissioners for hosting today. Today we're here and a lot of the partners are in the room from the agencies that you just heard as a result of probably about 1.5 to 2 years of meetings. Mr. Beatty heads up our Roseland Neighborhood Watch Group in the city of Mansfield. And he first approached myself and some others at the city about bringing more awareness to particularly men who have been sexually abused. Of course, we want to make sure that everyone who has had that unfortunate circumstance in their life is aware of all the ways that they can get help in the community. But he brought to light that, there is kind of this stigma that goes along, particularly with male victims. And so he has been a passionate advocate for that. State Representative John got involved a year ago and really appreciate her work. And, in the course of the conversation, we ended up talking more about how do we make sure that we're promoting the all the support services that exist here. And so, the agencies that are here this morning, if I try to list them off, I'm going to forget someone, but we all work together and are promoting 211 as a resource for folks who have been a victim of this. And they can call 211 and they can get connected to that support service that is right for them. Now, we talk a lot about this community, that we are very blessed to have all of these amazing agencies. In a perfect world, we wouldn't need them, right? We wish that nobody had to deal with this, but it is very prevalent. And there's some statistics in the proclamation to talk about that. So again, I just wanted to, start before that by saying thank you to the partners in this. Colleen Rice was not able to be here from the domestic violence shelter, but I know we have Kristen, but she also wrote a grant from this, I forget which agency it was from, but for National Victims of Crime Rights Week. I might have said that in the wrong order, but so we have been doing a series of PSAs and billboards and things like that for anyone who has been a victim of crime. And that kind of ties in with this effort. And then we will also have billboards specifically for Sexual Abuse Awareness Month still going up. Now, the last thing before I read the proclamation is this does say April 2026, and we are here nearly at the end of April of 2026. And we did that somewhat purposefully, knowing that, of course, at the beginning of the month, we kicked off with our friends at Children's Services. And I know just a few days away, we'll be proclaiming Mental Health Awareness Month. So we tried to fit in between here. But the support services and the advocacy work that's being done is really done year round. So with that, let me read the proclamation, and then I'm happy to have any partners make any comments that they want. All right. Whereas Sexual Abuse Awareness Month is observed across the nation in April to raise public understanding of sexual violence, support survivors, and promote prevention efforts across all communities. And sexual abuse affects individuals of every age, background, and gender. Yet male victims are often underrepresented in public awareness, research, and support services. And studies indicate that approximately 1 in 6 boys experience sexual abuse before the age of 18. And millions of adult men have experienced sexual violence in their lifetime. And stigma, societal expectations, and misconceptions about masculinity often prevent male survivors from disclosing abuse or seeking help, leading to significant underreporting. And male survivors may face unique barriers, including fear of not being believed, shame, lack of tailored resources, and limited public recognition of their experiences. And the impacts of sexual abuse on male victims can include long-term physical, emotional, and psychological effects, including depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and difficulty forming relationships. And communities, organizations, and leaders have a responsibility to promote education, reduce stigma, and foster open dialogue that empowers all survivors to seek help without fear or judgment. Now, therefore, I, Jody A. Perry, Mayor of the City of Mansfield, Ohio, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Sexual Abuse Awareness Month and urge all citizens to join in a shared commitment to create a safer community, support survivors, and work toward the elimination of sexual violence and create change for the future. Thank you.
So I just want to thank Mayor Perry for taking the lead on this initiative. And I have often said that working at the State House, I see a lot of different counties and regions and districts around the state. We are truly blessed in Richland County to have elected officials, community leaders, agencies who come together and work together whenever we see an issue. And so I'm truly blessed to get to represent Richland County and Columbus. I also want to thank Robert for bringing this to our attention and all of the work that he has done behind the scenes, really, and also representing his neighborhood. I want to thank the partners that Jody mentioned. These have been tough conversations. Some of the conversations have been raw, and but they all came together. And one of the things that I think I will take away from this is during one of the meetings, one of the individuals in the meetings is a victim or was a victim of sexual abuse. But they pointed out that you can be a victim or you can be a survivor. And the agencies that work in Richland County to provide help, comfort, and hopefully peace to these individuals that may start off as victims, they help them become survivors of what happened in their lives. And as survivors, they can really come alongside others that are struggling. And so I just want to thank the agencies for the work that they do, for the tough conversations that they have that need to be had with individuals in our community, and how they love them to the point that they can go from being a victim to being a survivor. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Would anybody else like to say a few words?
Sure.
Before you speak, Robert, I got to give a shout out. I've known you for many, many years from the Roseland area. You have done so much good work for your community for so many years. My hat's off to you. You've done it many, many years, and you've done so much good.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you've done.
Okay, where do I begin? Well, the first thing is I like to thank everybody that's been a part of this. It really has meant a lot to get it where it's at right now. As I've stated before that, right now in the times that we're in and stuff like this, we have been protecting females for a very long time, and now it's time that, organizations and everybody that is in a position to help, to give us the support that we men need who've been sexually abused. And so I always believe that 100%. And the only way to do that is obviously you got to make some noise. And to make noise, yes, true. It's been very harsh at times and things, but apparently it's paying off. And I know that there's quite a bit of people, men that I've spoke to that's not able to make it here today, but they will see this and they will know that it is something that the city is working on, especially since we have so many sex offenders versus the victims and things like this in our city. So with all this right here, this is just one step, so many steps further than what we was a year ago, obviously. I want to also thank Melissa Hamilton. She's also been a big part of this as far as our clothing line, getting it out there. She's been a big part of this as well. And I'm just going to say everybody because there's too many people to thank, at this point and everything. But again, my hat's off to everybody who's been a part of this. And yes, 211, I believe is going to be it's going to be a lot more helpful with acknowledging and letting us men and boys know that they do have a lot of things to offer and they're there to help if if it's reached out. And if it only takes one person that calls, that's one person, that is helped and does not have to go through like myself in the past. I've been in 2 rehabs. I still continue seeing therapy, but that's what makes me who I am right now. And so my hat's off to everybody involved that's gotten it to this point. And all I ask is that everybody just continue to keep working with us, making this just really go full.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? Don't make me call on you.
I did want to add, I forgot, Major Sweat from the sheriff's office has been a part of this from the beginning as well. We pulled him in early, of course, because they are tasked with tracking our sex offenders in the community. He has been very helpful, and the sheriff's office actually has put together a page on their website that has resources from the different agencies. So, if folks are looking for support groups, if they're looking for therapy, if they're in need of housing, things like that, those are all available on that website. So when you go to the sheriff's office homepage, there is a link at the bottom of the page that you can see that'll take you there. So I just wanted to shout him out because I appreciate the work that they do, obviously tracking offenders and making sure they're following the laws as they should, but also for stepping up for supporting the victims. So.
Gentlemen,
I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing here, but going through 211, they have been a remarkable resource for Richland County. Terry 211 and her staff have done a great job. I think it was wise to work through them. We appreciate that.
good for all you do. Greg, do you have any questions?
I think you guys covered it well.
That's all. Yes, sir.
So I was a victim of violent crime here in Mansfield, 2023. A guy stuck an axe in my head, tried to kill me. This whole half of my skull is 3D printed, out of a machine. I had a stroke, lost the whole left side. They ended up putting a shunt that drains brain fluid from my brain to my stomach. Left side came back. I suffer every day. I've got headaches, pressure, and I'm just curious with all of this support victims, how is it gonna move into the courtroom when the perpetrators are sentenced? Because I got a hold of my victim's advocate and I sent in a list of everything I had to sell of mine that I accumulated because I was out of work. I'm permanently disabled now. I went 15 months with no paycheck. So I had to sell all my race car parts, all my race trailer. I had to sell everything to just survive and pay the bills. So when I submitted that to my victim's advocate for restitution, I was denied restitution in this courthouse. So I'm curious, what are we gonna do to help victims not go through multiple traumas? Because I went through the trauma of being the victim, being in surgery, and then I went through all the financial trauma of it, and I'm still trying to dig myself out. So I'm just kind of curious, what are we gonna do for the people when it happens?
I'm afraid I can't answer that. Is there anyone that can address this? Anybody from law enforcement or the courts can speak for them?
I'm sorry, I mean, we are a commissioner's office. We aren't a judicial branch. We're not an elected judicial officer. I'm not familiar with your case, so this is all news, I think, to us. I'd be happy to get your name afterwards. This is, again, I don't know anything about your case. We certainly want to try to get you answers, and then we can connect you certainly with the prosecutor's office and their victim advocacy group, who does a really good job. So this is news to me. I don't know who you worked with, but okay, we can connect you and get you some answers, but I don't think any of us have any familiarity with your case. So I apologize. It's just, we don't know anything about it.
And as commissioners, the judges that would sentence your perpetrator, they're voted on, they're separate elected officers. We have, it's not like we have any control over them, but we communicate with them and talk with them, and as Tony said, he'll get with you afterwards and talk.
I am excited to hear what you guys are doing now.
Well, the county more than the city, right?
Carl, do you have any questions?
No, sir. I think they covered it well. I appreciate it.
Okay. Yes, Joey.
A picture.
Absolutely.
That Cliff.
So I have no idea, maybe partners, if we can come up here, is that okay? And then we'll take it facing this way.
No. Routine items.
Okay, it's 9:56. We're out of our informal recess there. Most of the people that were here for the proclamation have gone. Before we get into agenda items, and in the interest of time, is there anyone who wanted to speak on things that are not related to the agenda?
I'm actually. Let's see. I am actually here. Well, my name is Dirk Doge. I am a civil rights advocate from Mansfield, Ohio. To provide the public notice to all of you. This is in accordance with USCS Rules of Civil Procedures as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 of the United States Supreme Court. The Constitution for the United States of America is the overarching requirements that every state must follow. I don't think any of you would deny that. States cannot enact their own alternative legislation and substitute it for the guarantees of the Constitution of the United States. That would mean that state laws are more powerful than the Constitution. Clause 1 of Amendment 5 to the United States Constitution states no person shall be held to answer for a capable or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment by grand jury. However, the state of Ohio has enacted its own alternative legislation that permits the prosecuting attorney or law enforcement to charge by way of information and not by indictment as required by law. It's unconstitutional. Now, an emollient violation is when you pay a public official to break the law. You cannot ever pay someone to break the law, nor can you ever receive federal funding and they pay people to violate the federal law. The Constitution has two areas that enforce this. The first is Article 1, Section 10, where it says that no state shall create any law that shall impair the obligation of contracts. Police officers, prosecutors, judges are all under contract, a contract to perform that is based upon the oath or affirmation they took. The contract parameters are defined within the Constitution of the United States. So when the state enacts a law that directs their agents to disobey the Constitution of the United States, that would obviously be a violation of Article 1, Section 10. The 14th Amendment is the other place that you'll find the reinforcement of this issue. And that is where it says that no state shall create or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of United States citizens. The privileges and immunities of United States citizens are at a minimum. Those enumerated within the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, they cannot be impaired. This was affirmed by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2019, the case Timms versus Indiana, and thus the state of Ohio has enacted a law in its inferior constitution and it's enforcing it through events whom you all pay to violate the Constitution of the United States. As a result, there is an inordinate amount of people currently imprisoned in the state of Ohio illegally and unconstitutionally.
Excuse me, sir. In the interest of time, is there a way you can summarize what your?
Well, it's literally.
Okay, all right.
So Tanner Downey is preparing to litigating this issue in the United States Supreme Court on behalf of more than 700,000 people currently imprisoned here in America illegally and unconstitutionally. I'm here today to notify you that if you continue to pay these public officials to break the law, criminal sanctions could come from that. We don't want to go down that path, but I must make sure that you all are made aware that paying people to disobey the Constitution is an emollient violation, it's illegal, and it is a crime. I'm asking you honorable individuals to please look at Clause 1 of Amendment 5, confirm what I'm saying is to be true, and then direct your public officials to act in lawful constitutional manner consistent with the obligations that are codified in the Constitution of the United States of America. I have a notice that I would like to put on record, and every one of you now have a lawful duty to take action to address these crimes, and failure to take action and lawfully required is a crime, and your willfulness and knowledge of said crime derives from the public notice that I just provided to you. Thank you so much. God bless, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I have a notice here. I'll give it to you. Oh,
She's doing just fine.
okay. There's a notice.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly.
Sorry?
Kelly and Amanda are out there for their 10 o'clock. Do you want them in?
Well, yeah, let's give our residents a chance though. so we don't tie them up all day if they have any questions.
Ma'am, you referenced something about the data center. Did you want to speak on that?
My name's Pamela Taylor. I'm here to represent the group, the Facebook group, Mansfield, Ohio Franklin Township petition against data center. First of all, I really want to appreciate or thank the gentleman on the outside. I know Cliff at the time the other day, you were not at the meeting for whatever reason, but I actually like to thank all three of you for the statements in that made the other day at your meeting. But I also want to just approach you in that there are still a lot of concerns within the citizens of your beautiful Richland County. There are people who are still questioning if Mr. Sean Cutter Energy Acres and that is actually done here. So we had the proclamation from the mayor, which I have thanked her for. I've now thanked you for your proclamations. But I think that there are people who are still in the state of, I guess, what you could call shocked. We all got blindsided by this guy. So I have just a couple of questions that I don't know if we can answer directly, but has anyone heard anything more since your statement last week from the attorneys or the company, Sean Cutter, anyone affiliated with that?
Heard nothing more.
I've heard nothing.
Absolutely.
Nothing more, thank you.
No.
And Mr. Mears, while I'm thinking of it, was there a statement that you would like to attach to what was said the other day in your own words so that it's firsthand?
I sure would. Right. Thank you for allowing me to do that. There was a Facebook post which erroneously stated that I was in support of the data center. And the way that came out was that the individual who did the post took the article on the data center, spliced it with another article unrelated from a year ago where I supported a water line extension in Mansfield, spliced that to the end of the data center article to make it look like I supported the data center. I think that was malicious. I think it was intended to affect the outcome of the election because I'm on the ballot next week. And I think it's an awful thing to try to do to misrepresent my opinion. I made it very clear that I did not support this project at this time. I have spoken to Mr. Cutter a number of times, one-on-one, made it clear that I did not support this proposed data center. But I think it's awful that somebody tried to construe my opinion otherwise, and it was malicious and it was intentional to do that.
Thank you.
And they hid behind the anonymity of Facebook.
A gentleman, Mr. Banks?
I had
Anything else you would like to add at this time that you wish you'd have stated the other day?
I had a Zoom call with Mr. Cutter on March 5th. That's my only contact I've had with him.
Okay,
I've never offered any support for the.
thank you.
I believe Mr. Cutter made the statement that he had been talking to the city and the county for years at that meeting that evening. And I think I was pretty crystal clear that that was a lot of crap.
Yes.
First time I met with Mr. Cutter was earlier this year. It's the first time I ever sat down with him. Had not heard from him. He certainly conveyed mixed messages, provided what I would call unclear information. I said this last time, so I don't need to beat a dead horse. So I had followed up with him because he made some statements, and I'm not an expert in construction and data centers, but he certainly made statements that I knew just were false.
Mhm.
And so I followed up with some questions seeking hard data. Hey, you're saying the things that aren't adding up. What is the actual number of full-time equivalents that your proposed project, all three phases of it, would bring? And he never responded.
Yeah,
That was the extent of my conversations with Mr. Cutter. So his statements that the project was 80% complete were not true. I think you saw Jody's statement.
yes.
His statements that he'd been talking to us for years was not true, were not true. So I don't have any more to say. I have no intention and no desire to support a project led by him or his business.
So in the limited contact that you gentlemen had or that you have heard of otherwise, do you know who is the monetary backup for all of this? Because it's a tremendous amount of money. Who's backing him?
I don't know.
No idea.
What I also know though is my understanding is obviously these data centers require a lot of power.
Mhm.
In my conversations with the city, he hadn't even procured the power capabilities for the data center.
Okay.
So it sounded like he was grasping for anything to promote a project that he was ill prepared to promote and to clearly convey. And again, it's a city's project, but we're not gonna just dig our heads in the sand and say, we're not gonna offer input. It's clear the residents of Franklin Township don't want it. It's clear Mr. Cutter couldn't effectively convey what this project would mean for Richland County. I'll speak for myself. You guys can go in. I have zero intention to work.
And Pamela, you said you were blindsided. We were too. This township name came from out of the blue. We weren't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it.
But the irresponsible statements, this is why we get upset. Because then he goes in front of Richland County residents and says, well, I've been working with the county for years. And then residents go, why were we blindsided by this? Why weren't our elected officials informing of this? And the fact is that it's a lie. Okay? I sat down with him at Relax's Coffee Shop earlier this year.
Yes, sir.
That was the extent of my interactions with Mr. Cutter. So any statements that we've been speaking to him for years are just false. And they're
My
all,
first red flag was when one of the people who had attended the actual meeting at Franklin Township was stating that he really wasn't able to answer questions and so on. So anyhow, then I went on, but I would like you to also know some of the things that I have found in my research of this gentleman is that if you go on to, say, YouTube and you search his name, you search his company. I don't know that you're aware, but he has videos out there and it states that the mayor and other officials from this area were totally behind him. It states that we, the citizens of Mansfield, Ohio, were totally behind him. And so knowing the percentage of people at Franklin Township who were in, you know, there were 3 out of like 100, for what I understand, that were in alliance, you know, with what he was thinking. Just realize that it's not just that meeting, sir, that the gentleman, it's also, he is misrepresenting our whole area and all of our leaders otherwise. And I don't know why. I don't know, but it's just, it's concerning. We have a question from one of the team members. They're wanting to ask, has anyone entered into a leasing of the city property on Ernsberger or Amoy for development purposes? And I know your county, but do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything
No.
about that.
No, I hate that.
No. So then I will ask other places also. Just a statement also from somebody that the greenhouses that he purports to build, the way that the food is grown, he actually goes on a limb and states that he's going to sell it within our markets. He even actually names
That whole-
the stores in our area.
It sounds preposterous.
I had some general questions about the farm. Listen, that whole project didn't make sense. And he just,
So you know, there are many people who are standing up and saying basically, you know, number one, will that food be labeled or not? Because we will the people are going to boycott if he would build anything like that and sell that style of produce in our area. We want to buy from our local farmers. And
you
just
don't have to worry about it because
the
it's,
concept of saving our farmlands,
I think it's safe to say.
to save our farmlands, have them build on the old sites where there's other stuff that the land's not usable.
funny you say that because we attempted to do that with our wind and solar. And we had rural townships, farming townships request that we prohibit wind and solar to protect our farmlands. And what we've discovered is $500,000 of outside public interest money, including $250,000 from an organization headquartered in New York. You ready? With offices in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Nearly $500,000 of outside money have poured into our little Richland County to influence what we believe to be truly local decisions. Okay? So to me, I find it funny that some of the people that are opposing the data centers are also opposing the prohibition that we enacted on the council of our township trustees. So we do try to protect farmland, and I think it's terrible that New York City money comes into Richland County, Ohio to try to influence what our local township trustees do. And I think it's not something we want. And we're actually going to work with the state legislature on changing some of that legislation.
Yeah.
So these decisions truly go local and truly go to the township trustees. And these are public filings. So if you want to see it, $250,000 into Richland County, Ohio,
And
from a liberal special interest group in New York City.
And there's one in Dallas, Texas.
There's one in Dallas, Texas, and it's also out of Columbus, and I think it's terrible, regardless of what side of the fence you are on.
These are decisions that should be in our interest,
Correct.
not New York and Dallas and San Francisco's interest.
And
That's the money that's coming in. It's in their interest to influence our
The
decision.
local
That's
group,
wrong.
local group got signatures from people in the county. When they came to my home and my neighbor's home, I verified it over and over again. But the young man walked up and he says, "Do you know what them 3 commissioners did? They banned solar and wind in the whole county." Of course, I informed him, I am one of those commissioners, and we did not do that. Jackson and Sharon Township asked us to ban it. On the Senate Bill 52, give us the authority to do that. We reached out to all 18 townships, and 18 townships, 11 said, handed us a resolution voted on in public meetings and said, please ban large solar and wind. You can have little ones, large solar and wind power farms. In our township, we sent it out to all 18, 11 come back and said, please ban it. 7 said, no, we don't want you to ban it. So we did exactly what 54 township trustees asked us to do. And they were telling people to sign this because they weren't honest with the people.
The only 2 options us commissioners had at that time was either we respect the wishes of the townships and the elected township trustees, or to say, we don't give a damn what you think at your local decision-making level. We're going to shove it down your throat, whether you like it or not. That was the 2 options we had, and we chose to respect the wishes of the local
Well, next
township.
to the group that's been formed on this group, we've been very cautious about only allowing in fact. If there's any kind of fiction posted, if there's any kind of statements against public officials and such, then pretty much shut down. People are warned, and if necessary, I will kick them out of the group. So one of the good things that comes from this, though, and what I lovingly call our group our Mansfield Army, and even told them the other day, we need to chant, "We are Mansfield." Thank you. How can we? I want the group to be truth seekers. I want us to go in. I want to find things like links like this that we can go in and actually put up. We can assist one another with studying issues in the area, not whereas some other Facebook pages they're more biased and I've tried to explain to people that's not what we're about. So how can we, as truth seekers, as truth tellers in Richland County and in this area as an army, because now we have over 650 people. How can we assist you gentlemen and just the leaders of this area in general with seeking truths and such? How do you have any ideas of how we can help you?
Well, the first thing is to certainly do what you're doing, to be an advocate. And I could tell in your advocacy that you actually seek information and to distribute and disseminate the truth. And so that's why I provided you the documents. They're public records.
I will make sure this gets out.
And I think some of the groups that are involved in this, they're out of town people. I don't insert myself in matters in Columbus, in New York City. That's for their local residents to determine. And I think it's quite frankly disgusting and appalling that we have $500,000 of outside Richland County money trying to influence our community, whichever side of the fence you're on. It goes both ways too, by the way. So I'm not saying, look, whatever's, I don't want outside money coming into Richland County. We can handle our issues locally and in the state to a certain extent. When New York City money is coming into Ohio, okay, I'm going to get with Marilyn. I'm going to get with Mark. We're going to sit down with the Speaker of the House, and we're going to look at making legislative changes, right, to truly keep local decisions local. And that's where I struggle with. And I think even if you might say, hey, I'm not sure I want a wind and solar prohibition, what you should want is at least to keep decisions local. And it's clear from the individuals that are opposing what the trustees and what the commissioners did, They're outside interests. And I don't want them in Richland County, just like I'm not gonna go into their community.
Now lives in Florida.
Yep.
One of his gentlemen that works alongside of him, what I can find, lives in San Francisco. And another one, I believe it was in Texas, so they're not anywhere near. This,
I even had some questions about, he said he was a seventh generation farmer, I think.
I have heard fifth generation, I've also heard sixth generation.
Right, so I just, even how he described the farming operations, there were just questions I had all around, so.
If actually, I know, and you know, and it is time consuming, but if you go in, a lot of his materials on YouTube, from what I can configure, is AI generated. Not being a nitpicker, I'm a retired teacher. I'm not saying, you know, you gotta proofread everything, but even so far as, well, actually, I found one video and I can't find it, I'm about to be taken down, where he actually sat and spoke forth into the computer that he wanted this AI generated YouTube thing to contain how to persuade or help people in Mansfield, Ohio, understand that this was his proposed circular campus was one of the best things that would ever happen to him in the world. But if you go in, and if you even go in and just take long enough to look at a few of his YouTubes, he doesn't even go back and proofread this stuff. His name's misspelled in him. His name's SHAWN, by the way, if you look him up. And on his AI generated stuff, his name's spelled SEAN. His company, Energy Acres, is spelled with an I, and it's all one word. When it's put up on the AI, it's spelled with a Y. So, and I'm not being nitpicky as far as spelling. I'm being nitpicky in the fact that I think that he teaches people how to speak forth into the computer and tell the AI what to generate. And so I think he sits in there and I think that's part of the reason he fumbled when he tried to answer the people's questions at Franklin Township. Because he's used to an AI creating his products, his image.
I appreciate your advocacy. I think the city's pretty clear. They have no desire to enter into any sort of agreement with Mr. Cutter. I'm one of three. You guys can see yourself. You put it at 80% chance of happening. Well, I have a 0% chance of wanting to work with him. So from where I sit.
Come again back into this, our area on the 20th for the meeting. Will we have representation, someone there that's a leader and just and saying, you know, that's, I never met with you, that's a down out lie, or is it, I don't know. I'll put that out there, you know.
I can communicate with you.
We don't even know if that meeting's gonna
I didn't even know, again, and I think Jody and myself, I didn't even know that he had arranged this.
Yeah.
And I saw it on Facebook, right? He never reached out to us to say,
We didn't-
I'm having this meeting with Franklin Township.
what I've heard from other sources, was that basically even the gentleman at Franklin Township and even like Lou Whitmire for the News Journal had maybe a 24-hour notice.
Yeah, he never reached out
We
to
had
us.
no notice. We didn't know about it.
Yeah,
I didn't know about it till it was over.
Yeah,
So,
And for the record, I wasn't here last Thursday.
you know you weren't.
It's the Land Bank Conference in Toledo.
You're fine.
So, okay.
but that shed some light, the Facebook post that Cliff referenced, that's pretty terrible. I mean, that's a malicious act to cherry pick,
So I've tried to contact, like I contact the police here in Mansfield. I spoke with a gentleman the other day, an officer from the sheriff's department. And it's just, isn't there some kind of charges that somebody can bring against this man for? I guess we can't do like inciting fear or something. It has to be like a bomb, or is it fraud
are you talking about,
against Sean Cutter?
there isn't anything
No.
that I've seen that might be
Okay.
considered criminal. He's advocating for, a project, not law enforcement.
That answers that question for people that.
It just went rogue. It wasn't collaborative in any respect at all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming. And thank you for coming to the source in your quest for the truth. Doing the right thing. Thank you.
Well, part of that is honestly, having gone through a lot of notes from different meetings and such, I realize that you guys often become targets for things that are not even in your ability to,
Responsibility, yeah.
a lot of untruths out there that we also need to erase.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You can do a public records request too. Their emails for.
We have, yeah, we're in the process of
They talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else who would like to speak before we get into our agenda items? Okay, let's move on. Yeah, we're about 21 minutes late, though. Let's talk about the wastewater union contract.
Well, you're a group, man. You don't have to.
So many things.
Not gonna do it.
I'm sure have fun. How's it nice? Okay, are you ready?
Ready?
All right. Amanda and I are here to request the board approve collective bargaining agreement for her wastewater. An agreement between AFSCME Ohio Council 8, Local 3988, and Richland County. It covers 4 members currently. And the effective date, January 1st, 2026 through December 31st of 2028.
Motion approved.
Second.
Commissioner Mears?
Yes.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Vero?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on? Carl, you online? Do you have any questions about the union contract?
Yeah, has the union voted on the contract yet?
They have, it was already ratified by the union.
Okay, and any specific details in terms of length of contract, benefits or pay?
The 3-year contract, no substantive changes in benefits. As far as pay, the first year we did equity adjustments to reflect the current market. And in year 2, increase is 3.5% and 3% in the 3rd year. So it is a 3-year contract.
Okay, equity adjustment, what does that one mean?
Well, we had, as you're aware, the job market over the last several years has been very fluid. And so we adjusted folks within the unit to catch them up and increase the starting rates. Because as I mentioned, there are currently 4 bargaining unit members, but there are several openings and Amanda has had some challenges attracting and retaining folks. So we were looking to increase starting rates, which amounted to equity adjustments for folks who already work for us.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Greg, did you have any question about the union contract? Let's move on to wastewater.
It's Amanda Miller Day today.
About me today.
Star of the show. Okay, you want to come up and who wants to talk about this? It's up to you or Andrew. For change order number 4 in the Belleville project.
Who wants it?
Hand it off to him.
Bro,
Sure. Morning. Thanks for,
Patrick Flan, by the way, for the record.
sorry. Thanks for inviting me. To come meet. So I'm here to talk about the sewer project, actually a big investment in the county. And kind of number 1, give you a little bit of an update, and then also we have a change order that we are asking for consideration to approve for the project. So just a little bit of an update. We're about 75, maybe a little bit more % complete with the work. We've got about 12,000 feet of the liner, so some of this stuff could actually be happening, and we've done quite a bit of work. As you can imagine, like I said, we have quite a bit of work accomplished. So 12,000 feet of the existing sanitary sewer has been lined. The wet wells have been installed. There's pipes are actually all connected to the wet wells. Obviously, they're not live yet because we're not ready to start utilizing the lift stations at this point in time. The force mains have all been installed. About 3,000 feet of force main that was installed. And those are all installed and have now been tested. The pumps, the control building are all there and available. Electrical equipment has been obtained. It's being stored, ready for installation. The platforms, remember we raised these lift stations up to get them out of the flood level. The platforms are now being fabricated and they'll be galvanized the next month or so. The foundations are actually probably going to be installed this week for the platforms. The next things to happen, kind of thinking through what has to happen yet. All the electrical equipment needs to be all installed at the site after the platforms are all installed. Bring the lift stations online, and then all the restoration work that we have to accomplish yet to mesh it back in. You kind of drive by now and you kind of see a lot of dirt that's kind of spread out, and there's a concrete structure there and a building sitting on top of it. And you think maybe someone's building a small house or something there or whatever, but it's all good stuff, all a very good investment in the community. The specific reason for, besides giving you an update, so just want to make sure you're aware of what's going on currently, is that the completion date that was originally set up in the contract was April 30th, which is obviously this week. That the contractor won't be able to meet. The contractor worked out an updated schedule, a variety of reasons to how we got to where we are. The date that we originally set was kind of an arbitrary date. Obviously, you've invested the ARPA money, and we want to make sure that that's all expended this year as necessary. But material delivery, just the timing, the weather, the seasons, just getting things accomplished, and all these items, as you can imagine, and this isn't just a simple put something together. All of the things are like building blocks. One is dependent on the other. We've got all of the magnitude of the things that are needed for the lift station, except we have the platform. So the platform has to be installed before the electrical equipment can be installed, and all that has to be installed before we can do the restoration. So those it sounds like a simple thing to the completion, but unfortunately there's some time that is dependent on all those items getting accomplished. We are very fortunate. They are local folks, local contractors and subcontractors that are doing the work. So those are the folks that are doing it. Like a lot of people, everyone's very busy. That doesn't mean our project takes second priority, but it's just the fact that things have to be obtained to be able to move to the next step, to be able to get to the completion of the project. So, like I said, it's important investment. It's I'll say a little bit of a complex investment just because of the things that have to come together. All the components that are a part of the lift station. And obviously I know there's some urgency now. We got the existing lift station that's there, and there's been some recent things that have came up. So we're working hard to push the contractor to get to the point where we can get these lift stations online. The one at Belleville, Johnsville, obviously is the most urgent one and critical one to get online. The one at Coheiser, right now we're not sure when that one we'll be able to test it and have it ready for whenever that connections and tie-ins are going to be needed. But obviously the one at Belleville, Johnsville is the one that is a priority. So like I mentioned, when I came today, just besides an update, was that the contractors requested a time extension. The time extension is until September. Basically 5 months of time extension. I evaluated his schedule for the things that have to be completed. Like I mentioned, it's not anything that is a lot of concurrent activities. There are some things that can overlap. The foundation actually is getting installed earlier than what they had on the schedule. So I'm hoping that they'll actually be able to get it done sooner than what the schedule is indicating currently. But like I mentioned, the dependency of one thing that leads to the other, like the platform, the galvanizing, installation of the platform, those things are all dependent on the next item that has to be accomplished. So therefore it ends up extending it out to the time frame that they revise their schedule, ask for the revised schedule and the time extension for. Like I said, I reviewed it. I don't think there's really much that we can do with it besides, we want them to take care. We want them to do it right. We want them to make a quality product when it's all said and done. And this is it's a non-compensable time extension. They just want some additional time to be able to complete the work.
Okay, we've talked about this separately. It's a substantial increase in the contract time.
Correct.
How confident are you that this deadline can be met?
With the schedule that he's got and the items that have to be completed, like I said, we do have a majority of the work completed. I feel pretty comfortable saying that he's the timeframe that he has left with the things that have to be done. You shouldn't have a concern or problem doing the work and getting the work completed, and all we can do is monitor and facilitate what needs to be accomplished to be done. There's nothing that really has any kind of items that need to be ordered or approved or accepted at this point in time. To be able to get to that point, it's just literally physical labor that has to go into doing what we're doing to get it all completed.
Okay, motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Mears?
Yes.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Vero?
Yes.
Before we move on, Greg?
I just got one question, and I don't know, Amanda, if you're the person to ask this question, but somebody brought to my attention, there's some traffic issues. And I don't know if that's from your project there on Middle Belleville that, I don't know if you guys have any traffic things going on, but the semi trucks going up that narrow stretch of
No.
Belleville.
It has nothing to do
That
with
does not count. You're looking at Amanda like, what?
It's not me.
Big detour for us.
ODOT is doing some work between Vanderbilt and Middle Belleville.
That's not this
That's
project.
not the project. It's,
Okay, because somebody was complaining to me that semi trucks are going up that stretch of road and they're not supposed to be. And
so you can't get out of Belleville 97. 13 going north is being paved this week. So we are an island. Yeah, it's nothing to do.
Oz,
I will go find somebody.
yell at Bianchi just for fun of it.
Carl, any questions?
Yeah, thank you. Just a couple. I know when this contract was awarded, I think it's Driven Excavating of Crestline is the general contractor. When it was awarded in October of 24, substantial completion by the end of April, final 45 days later. Is there any kind of a time penalty in that contract for the contractor since he did not meet the original deadlines?
This is what we're asking for the time extension for is to.
Not since we approved the extension today. Now you come back to us in September and it's not done, and we may have some different conversations. So that was the point of today. That Pat adequately explained why there was an extension. Obviously, we have that December 31st ARPA timeline. We don't need to go over that. Contractor knows it needs to be done. And so if we come here in September and it's not done, we're probably gonna have some different conversations.
Carl, we want it done properly. And this will give him a few months to get it done properly. Want it done September 18th, because I don't want to be sitting here worried about whether
Right,
we're going to lose ARPA funds.
correct.
There's going to be no more extensions. And if it's not done September 18th, we'll do everything the law allows us to do to come back on the contractor.
Right. Was there, and I don't know if Andrew's still in the room, was there a time penalty that would have kicked in if commissioners had not approved the extension today?
Carl, the contract does provide for liquidated damages that are accessible upon unjustified delays.
But since
That's
they've
it.
extended, since that's been extended now, that's not going to kick in.
That's correct.
Until September the 19th.
Okay.
It'll be back on the table. But it's
I
going to be
know-
done by then, right?
Be done.
Pat, did you say anything? Did you shake your head?
I said, yeah. But it's gonna be done.
Not to put you
Patrick,
on the
when
spot. I'm sorry.
you're obviously familiar with the project and the contractor. From your point of view, is there anything they could have done differently in terms of material ordering or manpower being supplied to the project? Anything that was out that they could have done differently to have met this goal, or is simply out of their hands?
I would say it's probably mostly out of their hands. I mean, looking back, it's 2020 always. But I mean, they've worked efficiently. They've been able to have the materials and things that they need. There are subcontractors that are a part of their work process as well, but nothing that was of significance that would have significant change that would have made a huge difference at the end of the day.
Okay. And from the commissioner's standpoint, I know there have been lots of discussions about projects, development projects along that corridor, and this project obviously was designed to help make those more possible. Are commissioners, are you guys concerned at all that there may be projects delayed because this process is being delayed, or what have you heard?
Nothing. We do not anticipate the extension of this project delaying any projects whatsoever.
Well, that's what I had. Thank you very much.
So, moving on. Amanda,
Again,
free time lately, have you, Amanda?
no, sir, I have not.
Let's talk about Reed Road and the lift station out there.
Well, as you know, we had an issue with the pumps at Reed. And unfortunately, we had to pull them both, and we do not have a pump that we own that is powerful enough as a portable pump to put in there. So we had to do another emergency rental to put in a pump that could work that force main until, so both pumps have been pulled and sent back to the manufacturer for analysis to find out what happened to the pump. I'm waiting for the reports and to discuss with them what our options are and what went on. I'm hoping that it is covered by warranty, but until we know what exactly caused the problem, I don't know that they are.
Yeah.
So
Warranty won't cover this rental.
warranty does not cover the rental. At this time, I do not know how long we will be required to have the rental.
Estimated May 18th, though.
Estimated the month right now.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mears,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Mr. Pharaoh.
Yes.
Before Patrick and Amanda are gone, any last questions?
If you pump on Reed Road, did you have to figure out what's causing the problems? Is wet weather or anything? I mean, we have tremendous amounts of rain. Does that have anything to do with what's going on out there?
To be honest, we don't know exactly what's going on. These are submersible pumps. We always have issues with just wastewater in general has issues with these wonderful flushable wipes and things that should not be pushed down the drain that causes clogs and problems with these pumps. Anytime a pump is forced to push something other than basic waste water, it can cause damage to these pumps and cause them to clog and overheat and do just. So we have to do investigations and figure out what's going on. They do have to push a long way to get it to the main plant on Fleming Falls. So any change in the force main could cause issues with the pumps. So we have to do investigations for our air releases and everything else. So we'll be looking at everything to figure out if there's any change in that could cause the problems in the pumps. So for right now, we're just doing the investigation work to make sure that everything's doing what it's supposed to find out what the root cause of it is and to fix it.
Jokingly, from your standpoint, the quick fix would be like a billboard campaign for people to just use regular toilet paper.
Billboard campaign is always don't put grease down the drain. Flushable wipes aren't flushable. If it doesn't come out of you, don't put it down the drain. It's just really how I feel about it. It's just really rough when you open up these pumps and you've got all these pieces of plastic and things that aren't supposed to be in there
Correct.
that we have to deal with. Anything from needles, gloves to,
Needles.
yeah, needles, gloves, tampon dispenser, the nice new toilet bowl cleaners where you don't have to touch it, you just click it, and throw it away. Well, they just flush it. I mean, about anything, you got a 4-inch hole and it just clogs it. I mean, you get a bigger hole, a 6-inch hole, it'll still get up there and clog it. You get rags wrapped around and around these pumps and you just clog it. And we're fighting everything. And this is an everyday fight to unclog these lines. And homeowners are screaming at us because, we've got a backup somewhere. And, it's, everybody wants to point fingers about whose fault it is, but it could be a neighbor way down the road that's flushing these things down and it got caught on anything in that drain and it builds up. We get there as fast as we can. We can't see it. It's below the ground. And we have, I don't know how many manholes off the top of my head. Throughout Richland County, we are a crew of 4 people and we do our best. If you call us, we come.
In that Madison Township area is, I'm assuming what you're talking about, because Reed Road's out that direction, right? How many homes are we talking about on the system? Like 11,000?
We've got over 600 customers.
Okay.
But in that overall area, we've got over 1,500 customers and we have around 5 lift stations off the top of my head. There's a few more out there that I'm not counting quite right. But there's always something going on. And we do our best. But we can't fix something if you call us and let us know there's an issue. We always do respond when there's an issue because if we can get there before it becomes a bigger issue, we can stop from getting backed up on. Right. I don't want to run around and do a lot of crazy missed calls, but people know things, if they think things are off. And sometimes it's just nice to have a phone call, say things aren't quite working the way they normally do. Come out and check the line. If we don't think it's right, we'll flush the line and, that could keep from getting backed up on. But the biggest way to keep your neighbors and you from getting backed up on is to not put stuff down the drain that was never meant to go down the drain. It may say it's flushable, but save yourself a plumber call, save us a call. Don't flush it. Q-tips don't belong down the drain. Wipes don't go down the drain. Grease and oil does not belong down the drain. It causes problems. It causes a problem for them, it causes a problem for us, and it costs us all money. It's just bad for the community.
Carl, any last questions before Amanda takes off?
Yeah, real quick, how old were the 2 pumps that you had to pull and send back? And have they had problems like this before?
Pumps were just put in last year. They were part of my rehab project for Reed Road. So they've been in for quite, I think somewhere about 6-8 months.
And who's the manufacturer on those?
Gorman Rupp, and they're great to work with. And we've got a good response from Gorman Rupp. They've got them in quickly to evaluate them. I expect to hear back from them today or tomorrow with results and how we're going to go about dealing with this. So, like I said, we've got to investigate what's going on within the system and what's going on with the pumps to make sure that everything is right on both ends and we'll get it resolved. I have full faith in everybody and whom we work with. I don't expect a problem. And we'll just keep working forward and solve the problem.
How much is it? Maybe I missed it at the beginning. What's the cost for the emergency rental?
The estimated cost
$4,347.
a month, $4,347.
Okay, 4,347
Right.
per month.
Yes.
Okay. And where do you rent an emergency sanitary sewer pump from?
We rented it from Allied Pumps out of Marengo.
Very good. That's what I had.
I didn't ask, but this is coming out of contract services. Is that right?
I'm not sure what line item is coming out of,
Okay.
Cliff. I hadn't looked at it, honestly.
Is your wrist any better?
I'm gonna go have a check down after I get done.
Amanda had a fall. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Do I have a motion to certify the record of proceedings for April 23rd?
I'm gonna propose an amendment under the discussion with the Richland Source, 0.22.44. We're talking about the data center. It's, Carl was asking about the annexation requirements. At the end of that first paragraph, and I'll show Stacy, I recall saying regardless, the annexation would still require approval from the city of Mansfield. I think that's very important for the minutes to note that even if they met the statutory requirements in our office, that the approval of the annexation itself would require the city council of Mansfield to approve. That would be my proposed amendment.
And I will second that with the amendment.
Commissioner Mears,
I was not here, so I'll have to abstain.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Mr. Barrow.
Yeah.
I have a motion to approve requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Yes.
I have a motion to authorize Job and Family Services to post for 4 positions.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve CDBG's sub-recipient funding agreement for the Transit Board.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
And can I have a motion to approve a travel request from Denise Jackson, Recorder's Office?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Okay. Questions, Greg?
Not on the record after.
Okay. Carl, anything?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, at 10:49, we stand adjourned.